This has to be one of the greatest comebacks in Formula One history. You know that feeling when you think the race is over before it even starts? Yeah, that's what everyone thought when Max Verstappen rolled out of the pit lane in São Paulo. But what happened next? Absolutely unbelievable. Max Verstappen didn't just win points, he defied the odds. The man started from the pit lane in São Paulo and somehow ended up on the podium. From dead last to P3 on one of the toughest and most unpredictable circuits in the world. Nobody saw that coming. What we witnessed wasn't just a recovery drive. It was a statement. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is F1 Unpacked, your go-to spot for Formula One breakdowns, strategies, and everything wild that happens on and off the grid. And today, we're talking about that race, the 2025 São Paulo Grand Prix, where Max Verstappen pulled off one of the craziest comebacks we've seen in years. We're going to break down why he started from the pit lane, how he carved through the field like a hot knife through butter, and what this means for Red Bull heading into the final stretch of the season. Let's get into it. Before we talk about the heroics, let's rewind, because this comeback didn't just happen, it was forced. After qualifying, Red Bull discovered a technical issue with the hybrid system. It wasn't something they could fix without breaking Park for May rules. So they rolled the dice. New power unit adjustments, a different rear wing setup, and a completely recalibrated gearbox map. All of that meant one thing, a pit lane start for Verstappen. Sunday morning, cameras cut to Max in the garage, visor down, calm, locked in. You could just feel it. He wasn't there to survive. He was there to destroy. Meanwhile, Lando Norris was on pole, Russell was second, and everyone was focused on the front row. But down the pit lane, Max Verstappen quietly prepared for one of the most ridiculous drives of his career. Lights out and instantly chaos. Norris got away clean, Russell and Piastri went side by side through turn 1, and then Alonso and Leclerc collided in the midfield. Carbon fiber everywhere, yellow flags, typical Interlagos madness. And right behind all that, Verstappen joined from the pit exit, already 8 seconds behind the last car. But by lap 5, he'd already overtaken 5 drivers, just like that. Smooth, clean, precise. You could tell he wasn't rushing, he was calculating. He used DRS zones smartly, backed off when needed, then attacked at exactly the right time. The Red Bull was trimmed for straight-line speed, and that setup gave him all the ammunition he needed. He was flying. By lap 10, Verstappen was up to P12. Lap 15, P9. Lap 20, he's right behind Lewis Hamilton. And this is where things got spicy. The crowd knew what was coming. Verstappen versus Hamilton. 2 world champions, 1 DRS zone. Hamilton defended hard through turn 1, but Max switched lines through turn 3 and blasted past with DRS on the back straight. Classic Verstappen. The confidence, the precision, it was like watching an artist at work. By lap 25, he was up to 7th, and Red Bull was starting to play the long game. They extended his first stint on mediums longer than anyone expected, nearly 30 laps, to set up a perfect overcut. When he finally pitted, Red Bull nailed it, a 2-second stop. He came out in P9 with fresh rubber and clear track. That's when the charge really started. This is where Red Bull showed everyone why they're still the best in the business. While McLaren and Mercedes were focused on track position, Red Bull bet on pace. They let Verstappen run longer, saving tires and energy deployment. The plan was simple, attack in clean air. And it worked perfectly. By lap 33, he cleared Gasly. Lap 35, Tsunoda. By lap 38, both Ferraris. It was clinical. By lap 40, he was in P5. The commentators were losing it. Pit lane to top 5 at Interlagos. That doesn't happen. But Max was making it look easy. And then came the moment that changed everything. Lap 45, virtual safety car. Ocon's front wing exploded, debris all over the straight. Jean-Pierre Lambiase didn't even hesitate. Box, box, box! Red Bull pulled the trigger instantly. Fresh mediums, perfectly timed. They double-jumped 2 cars in the pit cycle. When the VSC ended, Verstappen was suddenly in P4 right behind George Russell. Lap 52, Verstappen versus Russell.
Same corner, same story. Russell defended into turn 1, but Max got the better traction out of turn 3. He opened DRS, pulled alongside, and swept around the outside into turn 4 like it was nothing. The crowd absolutely lost it. That was the move for P3. From pit lane to podium. Unbelievable. At this point, his lap times were almost identical to Norris in the lead. He was pushing flat out just to see how far he could go. The team came on the radio. "Great job, Max. Let's bring it home." But of course, he wasn't lifting. Even from third, he wanted more. Typical Verstappen. One thing that stood out all race, Verstappen's composure. His radio messages were calm, confident, and even playful at times. Around lap 60, he asked, "How's the pace, GP?" Lambiase replied, "You're faster than everyone except for Lando." Max laughed. "Yeah, the story of my life." That's how relaxed he was. Compare that to earlier this season when frustration sometimes crept in. This was the version of Verstappen that fans love. Calculated, composed, and absolutely lethal. Even the Brazilian crowd, which usually leans towards McLaren or Ferrari, couldn't help but cheer. Because when a driver performs like that, no matter who you support, you just have to respect it. Now, let's be real. This wasn't an easy race. The midfield was no joke. Williams had serious straight-line pace. Haas looked quick in the first sector, and Aston Martin had early race grip. To cut through that much traffic without a single mistake? That's insane. Compare it to Perez. Same car, started P11, finished P8. Max started from the pit lane and finished third. That's the difference. That's the gap between great drivers and generational ones. Even George Russell said after the race, "When I saw Max behind me, I knew it was just a matter of time." You can't teach that level of control. You either have it or you don't. Lap 71, final lap. Norris takes the win, Russell P2, Verstappen P3. And as he crossed the line, the place went wild. From pit lane to podium, the crowd gave him a standing ovation. He parked the car, waved to the fans, and just smiled. No jumping, no shouting, just that calm grin like, "Yeah, we pulled that off." In the cool-down room, Norris looked at him and said, "Mate, that was insane. From the pit lane?" Max just laughed. "Told you I'd be there." Even Christian Horner said afterwards, "That's one of the best drives I've seen from Max in years. Pure determination." And you know what? He's right. This comeback wasn't just about points. It was about momentum. Red Bull needed this. The last few races showed McLaren and Mercedes catching up, and there were whispers that Red Bull's dominance might finally be fading. But this race proved the fire's still there. The car still has pace. The strategy team still has magic. And Verstappen, he's still got that killer instinct. Heading into 2026 with new regulations, this kind of drive reminds everyone that even when Red Bull's not perfect, they can still pull off something extraordinary. They rebuilt half the car overnight, changed strategy mid-race, and still finished on the podium. That's championship DNA. This is the kind of race that reminds us why we love Formula One. It's not just about dominance, it's about grit. Seeing a champion fight through the pack the old school way. No safety car luck, no chaos, just pure racing. The onboard footage of Verstappen carving through traffic was mesmerizing. Every move was precise, every overtake timed perfectly. Social media went wild. From pit lane to podium, only Verstappen. Never count Max out. Max turned Interlagos into a video game. And that's exactly what it felt like. Even fans who usually root for other teams had to admit it. That was special. One thing that didn't get enough credit, the Red Bull pit crew. Absolute perfection. That first stop, 2 seconds flat. Second stop during the VSC, 2.1. No errors, no hesitation. That's hours of practice paying off. And Lambiase's strategy calls were masterful, managing tire phases, ERS deployment, and track position like chess pieces. Max just executed it flawlessly. He didn't panic once, didn't overdrive, and didn't waste a single lap. It's one thing to have a plan, it's another to make it look effortless. That's what champions do. That's what Max is. Was this one of his best ever?
Drop your thoughts below. And if you enjoyed the breakdown, make sure to subscribe, hit that bell, and give this video a like. It really helps the channel grow. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.